everyone. Welcome to Books and Bites, Book Talks by your librarians. I've got four people here, me and three of my coworkers. My name is Jennifer.
Joan, Julie,
Michaeline.
Thank you. And we're going to be presenting four books each today. We have a handout for you that you can follow along with. As well, we're going to have these handouts also at the information desk if you lose it or if you need an extra one or if you're not with us today live. So with that in mind, we're going to get started. Thank you very much. Okay, so I am going first. So here we have Cleopatra by Sarah L. Arufi. Came out this year, 2026. It's a fiction book, kind of historical fiction actually, and it's over 300 pages, so it's a significant read. I love ancient Egypt. If there's an ancient Egypt book out there, I will pick it up gladly. So I saw this cover, I saw the title, and I had to see where to go from here. So here in Cleopatra, it's basically a fictional account of her memoir. It's her story. She tells it herself, Cleopatra that is. But it is, of course, fictionalized, but you are using whatever historical fact that they do have. The author kind of peels away all the propaganda that we kind of know of her, whether it's from the propaganda from Roman and Greek historians, philosophers, as well as what we're used to from Shakespeare or Elizabeth Taylor kind of thing. So the author takes this very historical figure and turns her into like a real person, someone you can empathize with, you can understand her reasoning, her motives, and so on. We go from all the way from her childhood through her coming of age and to her rise of power. And then, of course, then it's more familiar, her downfall as well. Much of what we know is written by historical men, especially men who lived 200, 300, 500 years, even Shakespeare, after her death. And so a lot of what they're working with is just rumors and biases and everything like that. So here we take a really empathized view of her, and I really enjoyed that. We know Cleopatra for her beauty, for her eloquence, and for her golden mouth, her way that she can persuade people to do what she wants. And you can really see her intellectual skills here. If she's not just a pretty face, she has a brain behind there, and it is a very good one. So the author, we're in ancient Egypt for the most of it. We also do go into Rome a little bit with Julius Caesar. And so you're in this lush world of just, it's beautiful, but it's hard, and it's just so foreign to us. And I just love being transported into that new place. We go with Julius Caesar, him, and then also Marcus Antony, second guy. Her siblings play a huge role in this. I didn't realize how much her siblings both helped her and hurt her in her life, and as well as her children, and how much her children meant to her. So this is a really good retelling of Cleopatra's life. If you're looking for maybe a mythological book, or even like historical fiction all the way back then, I really do recommend it. And you'll just be taken to a different time, a different place, very far, far away. Very good. Thank you. So with that, I'm going to pass it over to Joan.
No Good Deed by Catherine Kovacic. It's the story of a woman who retired with her husband and had planned to go around to Australia, and they are essentially adapting RV. Well, that was great until her husband died, and she thought, well, I've already given up a lot of things. Maybe I should just go ahead. And so she started on her adventure. And parts of Australia are not heavily populated. So she's driving along a somewhat deserted highway and sees a big plume of smoke off in the distance and thinks, well, someone could be hurt. I should go and check. Well, that I should go and check had substantial repercussions. She goes, talks to the police, she's accused of this, that, and the other, and in the meantime, she thinks, well, this is a great little area as a geologist. It could have diamonds. So that introduces an additional aspect to this story. It's great. I didn't know anything about geology. I didn't know anything about looking for diamonds. I don't really know much about driving around Australia, except that it's sparse as far as people are concerned, but it's very interesting. It's a good story. And it's illuminating about a country most of us have not seen. So I would recommend this, but I'm always gonna recommend mysteries. So you're stuck. Yes, oh, yeah.
No, you're good. Thank you, Joan. All right, Julie.
There's no question.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see that. Deanna?
Is she Australian or is she
She
American?
is Australian.
So she's an Australian that decided to do this.
She's an Australian,
Okay.
retired from her geology work
Wow.
with her husband, who had been a geologist also, and was taking off on the journey that they had planned together. So
Great.
things looked a little hinky as far as this big plume of smoke that no one was hurt. No one was injured there. They were already dead. So.
That sounds better now.
Well, what happened?
Yeah.
And how did it get here? And if someone killed him, how did they get out of here? So it all begins to snowball. And she, of course, is the hapless
Yeah. Just
drive by.
Yeah.
Who said, I'll just be a good neighbor and call it in. Well, no good deed, and we all know how that ends. Goes unpunished. And in point of fact, she does have a certain amount of punishment coming to her. I just found it really interesting.
You learned a little something too.
I learned a lot. And I thought, oh, that 17-20 hour flight, not taking it down. Okay, now I'm done.
Thank you.
I'll talk to you later.
Okay.
All right, Julie.
Okay, the first book I'd like to talk about is entitled Spell Freedom. It's written by Elaine Weiss, a woman I happen to know only because we, as coincidence would have it, we graduated from the same college in the same year, and it was a small college, so. Okay, the year was 1956. And the US Supreme Court had just issued its ruling in Brown versus Board of Education, which decreed that the segregation of students based on race in all public schools throughout the nation was unconstitutional. Now, the state of Tennessee did not take kindly to this decision. So that schools such as the Highlander School in Tennessee, which was deemed progressive because of its colorblind philosophy, became a target of unrelenting criticism and attacks by Southern law enforcement, by judges, and by politicians whose aim it was to close this school and schools with a similar philosophy once and for all. And this is a true story of how the school, its educators and supporters were able to foster an environment conducive to learning to read, to write, and ultimately to vote in public elections. What prompted the creation of the school was the fact that at that time, one had to be deemed literate in order to vote in the state of Tennessee. So this was accomplished by individuals who notwithstanding attempts to close the school, wholeheartedly kept this goal in sight, which was the acceptance and education of all students without regard to racial identity. Now, names that bear repeating, and this is a name that I was first introduced to when I read this book for the first time, is that of a woman named Septima Clark. She was a woman of color. She was an educator whose belief in the cause she espoused enabled her to travel to Highlander with regularity. And despite numerous attempts by local officials and other state officials to smear her reputation and to thwart her efforts, she was able to teach through music, through discussing the power of nonviolent protest. She was able to make her students sufficiently literate. Let's see what else I can tell you about this. I think that's.
Nice.
Pretty much it.
Nice. Thank you. All right. Going on, Library.
Okay, the first book that I recommended is Glory Girls by Jeff Lurie. That's how you say it. This book is actually in our fiction stacks, but I would consider it a mystery. It follows Heather Cashman, a teen in the 1970s in Minnesota. It's more of a coming of age story, and it's actually based on true events that happened around that time, a true crime that occurred. It's a lot of, if you have any triggers, I would recommend looking that up first. It was an amazing story, and I don't usually like mystery and thrillers, but this one really got me. But yeah, it's a coming of age, 70s. You know, life back then was a lot different than it is now. There was more freedom as a child. You can just roam wherever you wanted to. But yeah, so I have a little blurb here. I don't know if you guys want me to read it, or you can read it. I don't know what the protocol is. My first one. So it's set in the summer of 1977 in Minnesota. It's a thriller that was inspired by true events. The story follows Heather Cashman, a young girl living in a community where the local quarries serve as both a playground and a site for dark secrets. When her friends begin to vanish, Heather realizes that the danger isn't a campfire story, it's living right next door.
So these are always a trip. All right. Back to me. Speaking of trips. All right, so here we got Calabasas, I think that's how you say it, by R.F. Kuang. Came out last year, 2025. Science fiction, but I consider it more of a fantasy. And warning, please look at the page numbers if you pick this one up. It is a big one, a ponder. So this book was a trip, literally. The title itself, that word, is ancient Greek. It is the term for when the hero descends into the underworld, usually as some kind of epic or poem or story. Think Dante's Inferno, think Odysseus, think Orpheus, and all that kind of stuff. So just that kind of thing. So fantasy, dark academia too, if you're on that trend, where you're kind of like in Cambridge, Oxford kind of thing, university that is. And we've got, it is fantasy, so there is a magic system. It's Queen loves to explain her magic system. She does a really good job of making it make sense. And you know, if you enjoy that kind of stuff, you'll really like it. So our story, okay, we're at Cambridge University. Alice Law is pursuing a master's degree in magic. Sounds cool. She's smart, hardworking, but no matter how much effort and time she puts in, she can't seem to win the favor of her advisor, Professor Grimes. He is the big shot in his field. He's the all-powerful academic gatekeeper. If you don't get his approval, you ain't going far in life. So she's putting this all this effort in, and then one day they're doing an experiment together, and whoopsies, Grimes dies. And his soul ends up trapped in hell, which is real in this world, you know? So Alice is freaking out. How can she proceed with her academic career if she doesn't have this advisor to check yes on her? So she makes a rather rash and shocking decision and goes through the right stuff to offer up a half of her lifespan and take the trip down to the underworld to drag him back up and get her to stamp an A on her papers. He gets some critical acclaim too, because no one's been successful at this before, but that's not gonna stop her. And of course, it's not just her, another one of Grimes' students, a fellow student of hers, is Peter Murdoch. He's nothing like Alice, different personality, different beliefs, different skills. But the two of them make the trip down there for one reason or another, and in the end, if they're trapped in hell, it's good to have an ally, and they're become each other's lifeline, and maybe they'll make it back alive, with or without their goal. It's a big book. It's not necessarily an easy read because there's a lot in it, and Kuang does lovely. I love the way that she inputs cultural references, literary references like Dante's Inferno, Salem's Greek myths as well. It's just really special, and you're like, oh wow, she did a lot of research, and you can see it, and it's such the love that she put into her book. It's wonderful. It's not not easy to read. I said that already, but it demands knowledge, it demands cultural awareness, it demands patience. So if you're looking for like an epic to sink your teeth into this summer, this over 500-page book is it. But it's such a good literary book, I find, and I just really enjoyed it. And she's written other things, and I plan to read it as well, but they're also really long. So it's on the list, I just haven't gotten there yet. So as you read it, you're gonna feel like you're going through your own kind of process, your own trip as well, and I hope you enjoy it. Yes.
Yes, is this kind of a combination of Harry Potter meets Wolfich's theology, mythology, something like that? In terms of the Greek gods and goddesses and the magic from the stories?
So, when you say Harry Potter, I would say the magic is much more complex. You are giving explanations for how the magic works.
Right.
The characters are much older. They're college students, so they're more, grown up. That helps. The mythology in the book, because it's for everybody, not just Greek. There's references to Greek, Roman, China, Japan. It's a whole bunch of mythologies all kind of shoved together in a way that kind of makes sense. That everyone kind of merges into one. If you end up in this place, how does that make sense, kind of thing. It's really cool. She did a really good job. I enjoyed it. And there's a cat, if that helps. Looking at the cover, like, yeah, that's the cat. Yeah. So yeah, thank you very much. And I'll move on to Joan.
Oh, well, mine is a lot lighter. But really, it's the story of two women detectives in Oklahoma City. One is a full-blooded Choctaw, so she's often called in when a problem arises with Indian tribes in that area. So a woman writer has been waylaid after she finishes her 2 lap around a track and is on her way home. The question then becomes, was she part of the let's take women and children, Native women and children, and disappear them for whatever nefarious purpose? Or does this have something to do with the historical 360 acres that Indians were allowed at the end once the treaties had been broken and they were offering this as a sop to the Indians who lost their homeland. And you get lots of information about different tribes, about how things have to work in conjunction with city police, native police, and where the lines are drawn between different reservations and different 360-acre plots. It's very interesting because I keep hearing about Indian women and children who are disappearing, and this illuminates a lot of what could possibly be happening. And I'm not going to tell you what the story was. Sorry. And I think the author is Indian himself, native.
Oh, okay, good.
So, but I couldn't find it, someone had already checked it out. Yes,
Yes, I don't know, did you have a chance to read any of the Navajo Police mysteries by Tony Hillerman?
yeah, I've read, I think, all of
How
them,
does
and
this
now
compare?
his daughter, but, this is a different part of the world. The Oklahoma and
Okay,
Choctaw, and I've forgotten the other Indian tribes, but they're all working together to try and recover people who have been disappeared. And this fortunately did not end up with people in a tractor trailer dying of heat.
because it seemed to me, Hillerman was very successful in making the environment almost another character in his novels because of the presence of the darkness or the barrenness of the landscape, the cacti, whatever. So like I said, you really integrated that very much into the story, so I just curious to see how you felt compared.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I just thought it was illuminating. And I keep reading about this situation, and there's not much that can be done, and it's exciting when it works out. So, yeah.
Thank you. All right, Judy.
Okay, I'd like to talk about a title, which is Spitfires by Becky Aikman, Aikman. And this, as I look at the cover of the book, is touted as being about the American women who flew in the face of danger during World War II. Now, at that time, women were not permitted to fly airplanes in combat. However, in Great Britain at the time, there was a very, very strong need for additional air power, if I can call it that. And as a result of that, women who were both professional and non-professional flyers or pilots here in the United States were given an opportunity to travel to Great Britain, which they did, and fly what are referred to as Spitfires. Now, I took a look at the definition of Spitfire, and you've got the personality trait, which is, as a metaphor, a Spitfire is someone who seemingly splits fire with their words or intense emotions. Character traits that are referred to are spirited, quick-tempered, highly excitable and passionate. I guess some synonyms would be fire eater, vixen, or hothead. Now, if you refer to the historic aircraft, a Spitfire is mentioned historically as having served as a primary interceptor and is best known for its crucial role in the Battle of Britain in 1940. It was designed by Reginald J. Mitchell and is celebrated for its graceful elliptical wings and exceptional maneuverability. Bearing those definitions in mind, this is a very aptly named title because it addresses the ability of certain women who were selected by invitation to come to Great Britain. And it discusses their personalities, both behind the wheel of their airplanes when they were flying, as well as their personalities on the ground. Let's see what else I can share with you about this. The Spitfire itself was an unpredictable plane. It could be fine 1 minute and the next, God help you.
Be on fire,
Pardon?
be on fire.
Yeah, well, exactly, or it could malfunction. But these women were made of steel. And seemed to thrive, at least as told by Becky Aikman, when they were behind the wheels of their planes. Some of them did not survive, some did, and let's see, I don't know how to. I'll leave it at that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, back over to Michaeline.
Okay, so the next book I recommend is Before Dorothy by Hazel Gaynor. This is a retelling historical fiction about Auntie M from Wizard of Oz. Her life in the 1920s Chicago. She was living with her sister Annie, who is Dorothy's mother. Tells the story of probably, in your 20s, you meet people. And she meets a man whose dream is to have a farm in Kansas. So she leaves the city, goes to start a farm, and that occurs during the Dust Bowl era. It's amazing because I always liked Wizard of Oz, but I was never really like a diehard fan. But this one was really cool because you got Auntie M's perspective, her life, and then how Dorothy came about to be she became the guardian. And then throughout the book, there's characters and, you think, oh, well, that's a Tin Man in Wizard of Oz, or, that's the Scarecrow. And so that was really cool because it's not, a Tin Man, it's characteristics. It was really amazing. And I really, really, really liked it. My mother-in-law is actually reading it right now. I said, you need to read this. So she's reading it. I'm sure she'll love it. And I love historical fiction. So if you guys ever need a recommendation for historical fiction, I'm your girl because I just love it. But yeah.
Wonderful, thank you. All right, going on to me. It is me. Look at that. All right, so here we have How to Be Okay When Nothing Is Okay, by Jenny Lawson. Came out this year, and it's non-fiction memoir kind of thing. And it is on a rather shorter side with, a little under 300 pages. So I've been a big Jenny Lawson fan for a very long time. I've been reading her writings since 2012, I think is when I discovered her. She is such a comfort read to me. When she writes her memoirs, she has essays, and everything that she writes is just filled with humor and heartfelt emotion and wittiness, and she just makes you laugh, and she makes you just feel good in a way as well. So for this one book, so it's kind of a self-help book. She hasn't really gone that far before, so this is newer for her. So it's part self-help, part memoirs with her funny little stories about her life. And then she also has some lovely doodles that she drew herself in there as well. Whether it was just to be creative or also for her mental health, this drawing really helped her as well. So overall, it is funny, raw, wildly honest, sometimes a little bit too honest. It's comforting and when you read it, you can think and laugh and go, oh, good, it's not just me that felt this way or thinks that way. She has a gift for turning her anxiety and awkwardness and just life's messier moments into both hilarious stories, deeply human stories, and it's a feel-good book. I found it perfect, like right before bedtime, because the essays and the short stories are small, like a couple pages, so you can read one before bed. And you can unwind, you can laugh a little bit, you can just feel less alone in your brain as things are winding down. Every essay has like a little nugget of comfort or chaos, depending on the topic, that will stick with you. I just like her voice. She has very non-traditional style of writing. Well, she'll interject herself, she'll interrupt herself, and then apologize to herself for interrupting herself. And then she'll backtrack and go, oh, oops, and you just see the chaos of her brain and onto the page, but it works, and it just feels, it just either makes you laugh or go, oh wow, that's really messy, and that's just great. She, throughout her life, she has managed her anxiety, her depression, her ADHD, and she talks about that in her story. It was very, in her book, it's very real about that. Currently, I finished that book, and then my sister wanted to read it, so she took it away from me, so I don't have it here. But that being said, she has 4 other books that you can dive into that are older, that came out a couple of years ago. They're all over there. One of them, my favorite, is called Fiercely Happy. It's a picture of a raccoon just like it's just like fiercely happy in the face of all else. It's a funny book about horrible things. And then there's Let's Pretend This Never Happened, a mostly true memoir. So I got those 2 over there as well. And she just chronicles her struggle with mental illness, her family life. She has a child that's pretty much grown at this point. They're in college, and then her husband Victor plays several roles in the stories, and he's just like the long-suffering husband who's desperately trying to get a handle, on things, and but he's stuck with her, and I love it. And I recommend for anyone who's looking for a little humor, a little heart, a little wit, and just embracing the wonderful things about being human. That's this book. Thank you.
Okay, last one out by Jane Harper. It's another new book. Jane Harper is an Australian author. As far as I know, all of her books are set in Australia. I read another one. It's a mystery, but it's a very calm mystery. At the beginning, a young man disappears on his 21st birthday in this small town that is being encroached upon by a coal company and its behemoth pit. So you don't know, is it going to be a book about him? Is it going to be a book about the change to the community and this big coal company? Very somber, very not shoot 'em up, bang bang. I mean, there are some mysteries that, are like that. Harry Bosch is very active. This is more contemplative, and it's talks really about how people adjust to a change to the slow death of their community. And at the end, you find out what happens to the 21-year-old boy. It's not fun.
Oh, not good.
But really interesting because some communities are being overwhelmed by giant Amazon warehouses or giant on solar panels all over. It changes the tenor of the community, it changes what people think about the community and how they react to it. And this is similar. You can extrapolate to those other events, just like how this community reacts. I liked it, I just wasn't a feel-good book. But they can't all be thinking, oh, they're sorry, Jerry.
No, you don't. My vibe was my feel good one, and then,
I love it.
thank you, Joan. Hi, Julie.
Okay, I'd like to talk about The Color of Death by Trey Gowdy. Trey Gowdy's name, may be familiar to some, if not most of you. He served 8 years in Congress and, is now hosting a, television show on Fox News. He is also by profession a lawyer. And prior to having served in Congress, he prosecuted hundreds of murder cases. So he knows, he's familiar with that aspect of the craft, if you will. Okay. I'm trying to think about how to present this.
Sounds like it's a murder case.
Oh, it most definitely is.
Are there any true facts?
Pardon me?
Are there any true facts interlaced here or
Any
no?
true facts? No, not true. This is a work that he co-wrote with a gentleman named Christopher Grayson, Greyson. It is a murder mystery. I don't think about how to present this. It's, oh boy, this is tough.
Okay. Sounds like a murder, small town.
Yeah, it is. It's a small town murder. A woman who works as a beautician has been murdered savagely.
Mhm.
And the protagonist in the story is one of the investigators who eventually does identify the murderer, but not without the, I guess, interjection of aspects of his own personal life, which aren't easy.
Yeah.
So it's entitled Color of Death. If you've ever heard Trey Gowdy talk, I think you'd enjoy this chat he's taking.
That's it. Thank you. And Michael Lee.
Okay, so this book is just the best. I was reading it in bed with my husband was sleeping and I laughed so loud. I woke him up and he was like, what's going on? This book made me laugh so much. It made me ugly cry. It's about a crow. He thinks his name is Shit Turd. Because that's what his owner called him. So he legit think that's his name. He was rescued as a baby crow. I forgot his owner's name. So it's from a perspective of Shit Turd or ST. He calls, like I may swear a lot. There's a lot of language in this book, so if language is not your thing, I would not recommend you reading this one. But he calls other people mofos, and like he talks like his owner talked, like he thinks. But anyway, so it's about all of a sudden there's like end of the world. Everybody's addicted to their phones, and they become zombies. And if they see like a phone, they're like. So ST's mission is to save all of the animals that are stuck inside with their owners to turn into zombies. And in Seattle. And he has a little companion dog named Dennis. And it's just their journey of trying to save all the other animals in Seattle and just so funny. So funny. I still think about it, 'cause I'm like, oh, if you like funny, like this one, I don't think I've ever laughed as much in a book. I don't know. It was just sci-fi, fantasy, dystopian, so funny. This crow, I just love this crow. Like, I want a little stuffy crow.
Have to, that a friend of mine, she loves crows.
And they're so smart too.
They are.
His owner's, he's like, oh my gosh, he's sick, I gotta go help him. So he flies to Walgreens. And he's like, picks up random things, like, maxi pads and like all this stuff. Trying to bring it back to help him. And he talks about his owner's girlfriend and like, just stuff about that. And I don't know, I just can't. I just love it. And there's a sequel too. Not as good, but yeah. Just-
I know when I was,
Hollow Kingdom.
Yeah.
when I was typing this up and I was getting this thing, I was like, I wonder what SG stands for.
Yeah.
Never
The crow puzzle, notebooks. And I just thought that was the funniest thing,
would have guessed.
because that's what his owner would call.
Yeah.
It's just so funny.
There we go. Oh my gosh. Okay, yeah.
Okay,
So I'm gonna go last, so I'm gonna hand it back to John.
okay. Okay, this is not a new book. This is the story, 2021. It's the story of Annie Wilkins, who lives on a hardscrabble farm in Maine, in a teeny tiny town. But out of that, she's been told by her doctor she has 2 more years to live. She was ill. She was told, you can't be a farmer anymore. While she was recovering, they took her animals, they took her crops, they took really all the stuff that she wasn't able to handle anymore. And she thought, well, if I'm gonna die in the foreseeable future, I'm gonna do what I always wanted to do. And that's go and see the Pacific. Oh, yeah, because we all just, in the early 50s, we're just go. No interstate highways, no cell phones, no road atlases, even. Little gas station maps, which, as some of us might remember, were not quite as accurate as I. So she gets a horse, has her dog come with her, and she sets off with riding her horse with her load of pots and pans and clothes and food for the horse and food for the dog. 2 union suits and a fur-lined hat and boots that are fur-lined with I don't know how many pairs of socks. Anyway, she sets off. It's a great story about a woman who trusts in the kindness of strangers and is, generally speaking, treated very well. It's not an easy journey. She did not go from Maine to the southern route across. She went to Idaho, she went to Wyoming.
Yeah.
Exactly straight. But she said, well, I have to drop this off in Idaho, this letter for the governor, and that's what she did. Things went poorly for a while. She lost an additional horse that she had due to lockjaw tetanus. But she did it. And she didn't die. She did ultimately die, but she died within the 2 to 4 year estimation. Very interesting. It's as much interesting about where she went as the backstory of the little towns that she went through. I mean, I learned about Windsor Locks. I had no idea they actually had locks there. Why would I have known that? I mean, Windsor Locks, okay. Didn't occur to me that they were actual locks and they served a purpose. But it's very interesting, nice little book. It's positive. You know, it says a lot about American acceptance of things that, you know, are out of the ordinary. And people's willingness to lend a hand, which I think we might find a little unusual today, but this is a reminder that we're not all good.
This is excellent, and I read it already, and yeah, I found it very, very interesting and amazing that we can overcome something that we think we can't. You know, being told that you only have so long to live, I don't know, I might have given up and said, okay, and this woman didn't. True story, it was very, very good book. I'm sorry.
No, that means I talk about. So if you'd like to add to it, I am not going to, not gonna say boo.
Thank you, Joan.
Jen.
Julie?
Okay, this is a book by Christina Baker Klein. The name might sound familiar. I think she's the author of Orphan Train and a couple of others. As a matter of fact, one of the reasons why I chose this title, Please Don't Lie, which Christina Baker Klein co-wrote with Anne Burt, B-U-R-T, is because I had read one of her previous novels and was very, very taken with it. This is a work of fiction. It's so effectively co-written by its authors as to suggest that it might have been drawn from a real life experience. I don't know that we don't know that for a fact. But we are introduced to a woman named Haley. She has just married. She's on her way north with her husband through upstate New York to a cabin that was previously owned by her new husband's family. We'll refer to the husband from now on as Brandon. And we're provided with just enough background information to know that Haley has suffered a horrific family tragedy. She lost her parents in a fire, and not too long after that, she suffered the death of her sister Jenna. And it's at the funeral of her sister that Haley met, or actually meets, Brandon, her now husband. And the significance of that will become apparent as the story unfolds. As indicated by the title of the story, honesty does not abound until the final unfolding of this tale. One of the, special aspects of Christina Baker Klein's writing is that she can inject a sense of tension and suspense into a story, which I was feeling before the denouement of the tale. Her relationship with her husband is not one I would have wanted. There are too many uncomfortable coincidences. And as the story unfolds, Haley, this woman who was just married, is beginning to question her husband and his motivation for having met, as well as the circumstances under which they met. Honesty does not abound until the final, as I said, until the final unfolding of the tale. There is violence. There is extreme violence in the story. So for those of you who might not favor that, I just put that out there. But, that's pretty much please don't want. And that's the story. Yeah, I think.
All right, I believe, everyone.
My last recommendation, The Emperor of Gladness by Ocean Vuong, I think is how you say his last name. This was an Oprah pick last year, in her book club. It's very popular, but it's set in East Gladness, Connecticut, which is a fictional town. It follows 19-year-old Hyde, I think is how you say his name. He's queer and he's going through a personal crisis, family issues. So, and then he, the beginning of the story is trying to take his own life, by jumping off a bridge, and then he hears this older lady outside. And he thinks she needs help, so he stops doing what he was gonna do. And he meets Brazina, who is an elderly lady with dementia. And her caretaker, like, just left her. So Hyde decides to become her caretaker, even though he's got no experience being a caretaker. So the stories are bond, and I love intergenerational friendships. It's just, that's my, love it. So the story is of how they become really a found family, and, it's just amazing. All I can say. It's emotional, didn't make me laugh, but it made me cry, ugly cry. And I like books that make me ugly cry. I'm sure you're like that. But yeah, this one was really emotional and. Yeah. I don't know what else to say.
Powerful.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're pretty much at time. This is my last one. And this is The Murder at World's End by Ross Montgomery. Came out this year. It is a mystery and it's a nice 323 pages. So very good. So I picked up this book because of the Halley's Comet connection. I like that sciencey kind of stuff. I'm very interested in astrology. So I picked it up for that, but I stayed for the grouchy old lady. So this is a great classic leading mystery story. It has a locked room mystery. So if you enjoy those, you'll be right at home. So the setting, we're on the coast of Cornwall. It's England. We're in 1910, so a little bit historical there as well. And this is when Halley's Comet was making headlines all across the world. This really did happen. And it was actually scaring a lot of people too. Some people were like maybe a little bit conspiracy theories. They didn't really understand the science of it. And some people in the newspapers, media didn't really help, but some people thought that the comet would do all sorts of bad things. Poisonous gas in the atmosphere, it would set the world on fire as it passed by, that caused tidal waves and tsunamis. They had all these theories. It was crazy. Anyway, during all this, so Stephen Pike, our protagonist, he's 19, he's young. He arrives at World's End, an estate here at Cornwall, and hopes of being employed at the estate. But when he arrives, the whole mansion, the whole place is in complete chaos. It's because the master of the house, the Lord Conrad Stuffington Welch, is one of those people who think that the world is going to end when Halley's Comet passes by. He's so certain of this. And so to save himself and his staff and his friends and family, he's boarding up the entire house so that none of this poisonous gas can come through. And they're in Cornwall, so the waves, they can avoid the waves. I don't know, it's a whole bunch of theories that clearly aren't gonna go anywhere. But he's so determined of this. So as Halley's Comet is passing by, the whole house is boarded up, everyone is locked into their room. And wouldn't you know, that night, somebody gets murdered. And of course, the victim is sealed in a locked room, so who could have done it? How could they have done it? So Stephen is our detective / protagonist. And he gets pulled into it, all because of our person who stole my heart, 80-year-old Lady Decima Stockington. She is the family matriarch. And what does she have a mouth on her? She's fabulous. She is a scientist herself in a world where it doesn't really value women as scientists, right? You know, at that point, especially an old lady like her. And she thinks that Conrad is full of it. He doesn't know what he's talking about. And she's right. And she is such an intriguing character that, and so determined that she pulls in Steven, the new under butler, to help her figure out who did it, who killed our murder victim, and how to prevent it from happening again. Because everyone's still kind of stuck on this, you know, place on an island, boardwalk kind of thing. And great humor in it, very smart. The clues that you're given, you got a couple of red herrings to deal with. It's a first in the series. He's gonna do a second one, so that's great. I can't wait to see what the two get in a pair. We got the old, you know, intergenerational thing too. Old lady, young guy, what else are they get up to? And so with this world to end, it brings us to the end of the program. And yes, I'm fan.
Very good.
So with that in mind, thank you all for coming. We've got extra handouts, got the books over there, and please take some stuff home for food. Okay? Thank you.